Are you busy? Or are you really living? A simple question, but one that strikes like a lightning bolt of clarity in the middle of our chaotic routines. Everyone's talking about how anxiety is on the rise. But what no one tells you is that there's something even more dangerous happening in the background, and that something might actually be the real cause of your mental distress. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, desperately trying to solve problems that don't even exist. And the worst part? It's affecting your relationships, your work, even your moments of rest and joy. You feel like you're drowning, but you don't quite know how to swim your way out. Have you ever felt like you're constantly running, but getting nowhere? Have you ever caught yourself saying, yes, when, deep down, everything inside you was screaming no? Worrying is a waste of life. While you're trying so hard to be productive, you might be drifting away from your very own soul. In this video, you'll start to see why living on autopilot comes at a cost. And maybe, just maybe, you'll realize that the authenticity you've been searching for never really left you. It's just been waiting for you to silence the world and finally hear yourself. We live in the age of urgency. Everything needed to be done yesterday. And if you stop, even for a second, it feels like you're falling behind. But behind who? Behind what? Society applauds those who are always busy, those with packed schedules, those who never stop. But deep down, something inside us begins to scream. Is this really the life we want to live? Many of us try to fix things, to think more, to control more. But what if I told you that this very strategy might be what's keeping you stuck? That's right. What you think you're doing to protect yourself may actually be hurting you in ways you haven't even noticed. Great minds throughout history, like Socrates, have said that the human mind tends to seek quick answers just to feel in control. But often, those quick answers aren't the right ones. And this endless search for solutions might be feeding a vicious cycle you're not even aware of. A lot of us ask the universe for clarity. But are we really ready to listen? Because sometimes the answer does come. It just comes in the form of silence. And silence, we've forgotten how to hear it. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That quote holds the true invitation of this video. Are you living your life your way, or just reacting to other people's expectations? Are you trying so hard to control everything that you don't even notice the opportunities passing right in front of you? This is a video about authenticity, but it's also about spirituality, about stepping off the hamster wheel and starting to walk with purpose, about turning down the volume of the outside world and tuning into the whisper of your soul. Today, maybe you'll find exactly what you didn't even know you were looking for, because we're stuck in a loop, a silent cycle disguised as success. Wake up, rush, produce, deliver, repeat. And when someone asks, "How are you doing?" the almost automatic answer is, busy. But is being constantly busy really a sign of fulfillment? Or is it just a disguised form of escape? This is the rat race, a life that spins in circles but never truly moves forward, a kind of productivity that feeds anxiety but leaves the spirit starving. The truth is, many people keep themselves busy so they don't have to feel, because silence is uncomfortable, emptiness is frightening, and introspection requires courage. So, productivity becomes anesthesia. It becomes an excuse. It becomes armor. Spirituality, however, invites us to flip that logic. Before doing, we must be. Before running, we must listen. Before filling our calendar, we must fill our soul. As Annie Dillard once said, How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. That quote is a mirror. So here's a practical challenge. Tonight, before you go to bed, ask yourself, did everything you did today bring you closer to the person you want to become? Or did it just pull you further away from what truly matters? The search for authenticity begins when we stop doing just for the sake of doing, and start doing from a place of meaning. That's when productivity stops being a prison and becomes a bridge to emotional freedom. But emotional freedom takes time. Have you noticed how the days seem to be flying by faster and faster? Suddenly, it's Monday again. It's December. Another year has gone. But why does time slip away like sand through your fingers? The answer isn't in the clock. It's in our presence. Or rather, in the lack of it. When we live on autopilot, time loses its color, texture, and flavor. We become spectators in our own lives. But when we are truly present, even breakfast can become a meaningful memory. Think about your childhood. Do you remember the smell of your grandma's house? The sound of the gate opening? Your first bike? Those moments stayed with you because you were fully in them. It was new, it was sensory, it was alive. That's called subjective time, time that the soul feels, not what the clock measures. In personal growth, learning to create these anchors of presence is essential. It can be as simple as taking a different route to work, eating a meal in silence, or observing a tree without rushing. Want a powerful practice? Today, have your coffee like a ritual. No phone, no rush. Smell the aroma, watch the steam rise, listen to the silence. Just observe. The stillness, the plants. It might seem silly, but it changes everything. It's in this slower rhythm that spiritual awakening lives, because it's where we begin to hear ourselves again. As Kierkegaard once said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. And you can only look forward with clarity when you're truly here. Now, does your clarity answer your most basic questions? Or are you just giving the answers others want to hear? How many times have you said, yes, when everything inside you wanted to say, no? We say yes out of politeness, out of fear of hurting someone, out of habit. But often, it's out of fear of losing love. Only every yes that comes from the wrong place is a no to your inner peace. And that comes at a cost paid in anxiety, exhaustion, and resentment. Saying no is an act of courage. It's when you draw your personal boundaries and begin protecting what really matters. Your energy, your time, your authenticity. Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "Man is condemned to be free." In other words, even when you don't choose, you've already chosen. And with every choice, you shape yourself. You build or unravel your identity. Personal growth and spiritual awakening require that level of maturity. To understand that pleasing everyone isn't a gift, it's a trap. And that saying no isn't rejection, it's self-respect. Here's a small exercise. Today, notice the moment that automatic impulse to say yes arises. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, do I really want this? Or am I hoping they'll like me because of it? That kind of awareness changes everything. Authenticity is a choice. And choosing isn't always comfortable. But that's exactly where true emotional freedom begins. We grew up believing that being authentic means being firm, consistent, and aligned all the time. But what if I told you authenticity has nothing to do with perfection? It has everything to do with truth, with presence, with being human. Authenticity is accepting that there are good days, and days when everything falls apart. It's recognizing that you can be light and shadow and still be whole. Real life isn't an Instagram feed. It's a simple dinner with people who love you. It's an honest conversation. It's saying, "I don't know," with sincerity. The Japanese concept of wabi-sabi teaches us to find beauty in imperfection, in transience, in what isn't Instagram-worthy. And that teaching is a powerful key to spiritual awakening. Because, unlike what we've been sold, you don't have to be ready to be yourself. You just have to be available. Available to feel, to fail, to begin again. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist, persists. What you accept, transforms you." Accepting your flaws is the first step to being free from them. So next time you feel not enough, remember this. You didn't come here to be perfect. You came to be real. And being real is deeply human. Being human requires presence and silence. Most people are afraid of silence. But why? Because silence doesn't distract. It reveals. And often, what it reveals is exactly what we've been avoiding. We're surrounded by noise, notifications, comparisons, expectations. But inner silence? That's become almost a luxury. Yet it's in silence where presence lives, where intuition speaks, where self-awareness is born. That's where the ego quiets down, and the soul begins to whisper. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said, "Silence is the most powerful form of communication." And he wasn't talking about words, he meant essence. Want a practical example? Today, take a 10-minute walk without headphones. Just walk. Observe. Breathe. Feel. You'll start to notice how the outside noise drowns out what's most true inside you. On the journey of spiritual awakening, silence isn't absence. It's presence in its rawest form. It's when spirituality stops being a theory and becomes a lived experience. When you get quiet, you begin to hear what's always been there. Your authenticity. Your unfiltered truth. Your real self, free from performance, free from the rush, free from needing approval. Silence reminds you who you are, when no one's watching. That's what's real. But because it's simple, truth isn't always easy to face. Worrying is a waste of life. And yet, we live stuck in it, don't we? Trapped in packed schedules, repetitive thoughts, fears that were never even ours. Believing we constantly have to prove we're enough. But look, you already are. Authenticity doesn't require fame, a perfect feed, or constant approval. It only asks for one thing: truth. Living with your heart aligned to what you feel, not to what others expect you to be. You're not alone in this search. So many people are tired of soulless hyperproductivity, of being disconnected from themselves. There's a call echoing inside many of us, maybe even inside you, and it starts with the simplest gesture: being present, even if it's just for 5 minutes in silence, with your hand on your chest, just to remind yourself that you're here, that you're alive, and that alone is miracle enough. So, if something in these words spoke to you, I invite you to take the next step in this journey of self-discovery. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep walking this path of spiritual growth with us. Share in the comments your experiences with conscious breathing and how it has become a teacher in your own spiritual awakening. Let's grow together, not just in the mind, but in the heart. And if you want to go even deeper into this process, watch our video, The Surprising Truth About Freedom Nobody Tells You. It will help you understand how your reality is shaped from the inside out. Peace and light.